Hi, Michelle here. How are you? Day 3. So that's 3 days into thinking about what it is you're going to write for your epic blog piece for the Content Mojo Challenge. So are you having any trouble coming up with an idea? I did notice that Frankie put on to in the Facebook group that she's riding up a storm, she's leading the way, which is fantastic. But she also mentioned that if you're having trouble, another thing that you can think of to do is to repurpose old content. And I don't mean getting it out of the cupboard and dusting it off or whatever, but actually you can rewrite it in some way, give it a bit of a twist, as Frankie put it, or find some way that you can use that content as either the spark to write something else, like a part 2 or a revised edition. Or maybe you can find, if you do a little bit of research, you can see that other people are doing something similar, but they've given it that twist we said a minute ago. So do a little bit more research if you're really stuck. The other thing you can do is come to the Facebook group and we can brainstorm what you could be writing about, because you do need to get something in order for week 2 to be of any significance to you. We need to have something to work with. Preferably something you've written this week. It doesn't have to be. It's not the end. Not going to be the end of the world. It's not like you're going to get kicked off the challenge or anything. But in order to make all of that creative juices flow in next week when you're creating images and things, having a blog post to work with will be a big bonus. Now, what about me? Well, I'm still at 0. But I did do a lot of research yesterday, and I guess technically this is the start of day 3 for us in Australia, and in America you're probably coming to the end of day 2 at the moment. So we've still got a bit of time up our sleeve, but it's not time to get complacent. We do actually need to start really focusing on what it is we want to write, and it's creating a piece of content on a regular basis. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this, not just so that you can, win a prize or create a bunch of images and things to promote your business. All of that is important, but the more content that you create and put it out there, the more likely it is your business will succeed online. Most of the businesses that do very well are businesses that are always putting out content in some way or another. So in this challenge, the content we're choosing to put out is a blog post. So it is actually quite an important element of the whole process and of building a business, is that you regularly put out content onto the web. Now, the challenge is all about you doing the research and being really smart about what content you're going to put out. So, if you have any questions, anything that I can do to help you get that piece of content created. Now, we're aiming for 1,500 words. I was pretty strict about it in the first couple of challenges, but in this one, it's Christmas, hey, and I'm always very generous at Christmas time. So I was actually thinking, as I said before, just get something, write something. Even if it isn't the 1,500 words, write something, get something down, because that's what it's all about: creating content, creating your business, creating the foundation for your business, if you like. Last time in the last challenge, we even talked about outsourcing your content as well. So, or this part of the process. So, actually going and finding a writer, someone like Frankie, I suppose, like a ghostwriter over places like Fiverr or Upwork, and getting them to knock out a 1,500 word article for you. And you certainly can do that. And probably if you'd started that process on the weekend or even now, you might even be able to, a good writer could actually do that for you before the end of the week. So that is an option. If coming up with the idea is not your problem, but actually having the time to do the writing is your problem, and you haven't been able to find ways to chunk it out of your day to be able to get just those little bits of content done, then think about outsourcing it. Go pick up, go into Fiverr and see if you can find someone who can do it for you in just 3 or 4 days. And then by the end of the week, you'll have something that you'll be able to put up onto your blog. It's, keyword rich. It's one that you'll be proud of. It's something that will help grow your business. And then we can create all of the marketing assets next week, which is what the plan is to do. Now, if you do have an idea and the problem that you're having is finding the time to do the writing, well, there are lots of things you could do. Now, some people talk about chunking up your time. So there's a thing called the Pomodoro technique, which is basically set around how long it takes for, I think it's a tomato. Pomodoro is the Italian word for tomato. So the actual technique is all about you using chunks of time to the amount of time that it takes a tomato to cook, and then that's all you do. It's called like focus time. I think it's normally a Pomodoro is about 25 minutes or something like that. Look it up online. There are a whole bunch of resources, including apps. I've got an app on my computer and I've got one on my phone, which means I can have a timer going, which will pop up and tell me, you know, it's time to start work or it's time to stop work. And in those times, I should just be concentrating on whatever it is, the task that I've sent myself to do. Because, you know, unlike in the past, we've always had this assumption that that multitasking, especially when you're women, and I think we do it a little bit more naturally than men, the multitasking, but it does dilute our focus and we don't really get the things done that we need doing if they're things we really need to think about. And writing this blog post is something you need to think about. So I'm actually very good at multitasking, lots of things that don't need a lot of my brain power. I can actually get a lot of stuff done, like little things. But if it's something like this, like writing a blog post, then I actually need that real focus time. So putting a timer on and saying, actually, I'm not going to answer any emails. I don't have any social media alerts flashing off. I'm not going to look at my phone if it flashes. I'm certainly not going to answer my phone if it rings. I'm just doing this for 25 minutes. That's it. And then you have like, it's all different things, like 5-minute break or 10-minute break. And then you can do it again if you like. And there's a lot of studies been done that show when people do that sort of work in those concentrated, focused periods, you only need to do, 3 or 4 of those a day of 25-minute, like real focus. You don't do anything else. And you're amazing. It's quite amazing just how quickly you will get really important stuff done in your business, and therefore your business will grow. So do think about that. Even do some research on it. There's been quite a bit of research done on how to get that kind of focus time and the incremental effects it will have in your business when you do apply yourself like that. It's huge. And I've done it plenty of times when I've needed to get something done, especially like when I was setting the challenge up originally and had to create all those videos, when I launched lots of products, when I'm actually in the middle of trying to write a book, which Frankie knows, and I haven't been doing that for that lately. I was doing it at a couple of months ago. I was religiously getting up early every morning, a little bit earlier, just so that I could spend some time writing that book. So I could just be very focused on spending, say, even just half an hour a day is half an hour. By the end of the week, what is that, 3.5 hours? That's, it's a massive time, which I guess brings me to another point when it comes to creating a space or a time. Not only do you need to find a way to be able to really focus, sometimes that means, because a lot of us will go, I don't have another minute in my day. My day is chock-a-block full of kids, family, business, just life. There's so much stuff. I'm already overcommitted. How am I going to do this? Well, number one, I would say, if you said that to me, this is your business, so you actually need to be pretty committed to that too. But number two, being committed means you'll do what it takes. So what it takes is perhaps you need to get up half an hour earlier every day and spend half an hour chunked down, like just focusing on, this project, perhaps just writing this blog post. Because if you just spend half an hour a day, as I said, that's 3.5 hours in the whole week that you weren't using before. And I'm pretty sure you'd be able to get your blog post done in that time. So think about that. Think about how you can claw back a little bit of time. In the past, I've talked about how I will even, do some work on my phone or on my iPad if I'm out with the kids, if I'm having to, be, what do we call it? Taxi mum, driving them around and waiting for them after training, or, taking them to music practice or going to their sport or something. I have my device with me, and if I feel like it, I will actually pick it up and start, actually typing into it. It even helps with things like inspiration. So if I've been inspired to add a certain thing or whatever, but it's all about finding those little moments as well. So number one, be intentional by getting up a little bit earlier, by using something like, my computer's now making a noise, so I'll just turn that down. By using something like the Pomodoro technique, where you're actually creating yourself little bits of time. All of these things are really, really important when it comes to you finding time to do anything that you need to do in your business. This is just one thing. All right. So that's probably a little pep talk for me as well. And because it's Christmas time, we all need to find that little bit extra, don't we? Because we are already doing so many other things, even if many of them are social or family related around Christmas time and the festive season. So, all right. Questions, love questions. Please leave them. You're all so brilliant. Nobody's bothered to leave a question. I assume you have all the answers. But I would love to answer the questions, all joking aside. I would really like to answer them live. So the first challenge, I had loads of people come on live all the time. But this one and the last one, people have been like, oh, we've already seen, we know what Michelle's going to say. So I'd love to see some of you live, because it's awesome. It's much easier than me just sitting here talking to myself. If I can read some of the comments and some of the... and we can have a conversation. And yeah, that would be magic. All right. I love you all. Please go and share the challenge, because the more people we get in here, the more alive it will feel as well, and the more we can support each other. That would be great, and hopefully more people will turn up and talk to me live, because that's the whole point. It's live. All right, take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to go into the Facebook group and put in your count, your word count, what it is. I'm going to make a concerted effort to do some today. So, or, some actual writing. Done a fair bit of research, but I'm going to do some writing today. I've got a pretty good handle on what I'm going to write about now. So I'm going to get the tomato timer out, the Pomodoro, and start actually chunking it down and doing what I'm telling you to do. Okay? All right. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.